So imagine you're walking through a forest at dusk and here's some rustling in the leaves. What could it be? What could it be? Small pine cone. But it's not a pine cone. It's actually a penguin. So this right here is a penguin. Um, they're cute, smart, shy, gentle little creatures. And today they're actually slowly going extinct. Because it's being smuggled and hunted so much that it's actually on the top of Earth's most trafficked mammals. According to the World Wildlife Fund. And to me, a just future would be one where this creature survives, a future where humans are protecting the vulnerable instead of exploiting them. To me, at least, the penguin symbolizes nature's quiet resilience, that's shielded to stronger laws, global education, and ethical responsibility that puts compassion before profit. And so here's a few more pictures of the penguin. They can stand on their hind legs as well as walking on all four. I don't know. I just think they're cute little animals. Personally, one of my favorite animals. But yeah, the penguin matters quite a bit because each one eats about 70 million insects per year. So it's one of nature's best pest controls, according to National Geographic. And digging is their main way of like getting their food. So they mainly eat ants and termites. But while they dig up soil and mud and they break it down, it actually helps plants to grow as well. So if they're completely gone, like if they disappear, population of ants and termites are going to explode, which damages crops and ecosystems. So what actually endangers them is, despite protection under international laws, penguins are actually poached for their mainly for their scales that are used in traditional medicine and their meat. And their meat is actually considered a delicacy in parts of Asia and Africa. So penguins mainly reside in West and Northern Africa, as well as parts of Southeast Asia and Northern China. Yeah, all 8 species of the penguin are actually now threatened with extinction. So scare. So this next slide is a little graphic. It's just the scales of the penguin. So here's the scale of the penguin. So what actually endangers them is just mainly illegal wildlife trade, habitat loss, and the enforcement of laws for the conservation of penguins. So behind each seizure of penguins, stills are like hundreds of dead animals, innocent lives that are lost for superstition and status. Yeah, penguin. And why this matters is that it's not just about people; it's about creating a system that truly values life, and the exploitation of penguins reflects the same preoccupations with greed and inequality that harms profit over ethics, ignorance over empathy, and a just world recognizes that every being has the right for safety and respect. So protecting penguins amounts to protecting balance, biodiversity, and moral responsibility. So who's actually fighting for these guys? Organizations like Save um, Save Penguins and the Penguin Crisis Fund, led by Wildlife Conservation Network. So these guys right here. So preventing trafficking and rescuing survivors while funding research into the species. That also works with local communities, training rangers and raising awareness through educational campaigns. And they're showing us that what justice in action actually looks like, which is protecting those who can't defend themselves. So, what should change? I believe that enforcing laws on wildlife should be enhanced by governments, penalties for trafficking increased, and education programs in countries where penguin products are purchased to understand the ecological harm and moral costs. And I think as global citizens, we should, refuse to stay silent, support conservation groups, share their stories, and, use social media as a weapon for awareness. So yeah, that's me.